Okay, we should be live. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Success Starts with a Plan. I'm just checking whether everything's okay, but we should be live as far as I can see. And today we're going to talk about traffic, guys. Today we're going to talk about last time we spoke about traffic and how to create this budget for yourselves so you can, go out there and make sure that you're always getting people to view your business because without that it doesn't exist, right? Any kind of whether physical product or service, whatever you do actually needs somebody or the other to actually take the initiative and use that product or service uh, or even work with a specific person. Everything needs customers, okay? Every person and everything. Today we're going to talk about a specific traffic strategy that we use in the whole plan. And sorry if I'm coughing a bit, guys. I'm just getting a bit better from a weekend of being sick, so that I apologize for that right now.
Mhm.
And we're going to look at this one traffic method, okay? It is commonly used in the industry, but we're going to talk about how to choose who is the best person for you. I mean, what are the things that you need to keep an eye out for, and what is, in our opinion and with our experience, the kind of practices that you can. So I'm going to leave it up to Renee, and then we'll get into more detail.
Absolutely. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is actually because a solo ad vendor reached out to me and was basically, presenting themselves as a solo ad provider who has, unique strategies and how he's different than all other solo ad vendors. And I know that every solo ad vendor says that, but we had a little bit of a conversation, and I thought that it would be a good topic for us to talk about because there are definitely things you want to keep in mind when you are choosing a solo ad provider, if that's your strategy. If you're using solo ads as a strategy, you definitely want to know certain things. So I'm actually going to, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to a little bit of the message, the back and forth communication that I had with this person, just because some of the things that this person says and some of my responses and some of my questions are things that you need to keep in mind. And just also keep in mind that I'm not saying to use this type of solo ad vendor or not. I'm just saying to keep some questions in the back of your mind when you are choosing. So this person asked me, how are you sending traffic to your offer? And I basically responded with organically through content that I've created and also solo ads and media buys. And then I just basically said, because I looked at this person's profile and saw that they were a solo ad vendor, so I responded with, I'm assuming you wanted to know this to find out whether I'm someone who'd buy traffic from you. And I was talking about the solo ad affiliate traffic offers that we use, like Udemy traffic for me, MLM leads, and some of them are solo ads, some of them are media buys. Um, and he basically said, solo ads are great marketing tools. Your offer's a great fit, basically for his solo. And he basically started to say that one of the traffic sources that I said, and I don't know if we want to say that, was not a good traffic source. And he wanted to prove to me why that wasn't a good traffic source and why his would be better. Um, so I don't know if we want to go ahead and name names or anything about this traffic source, but um, this
I think
person,
it's fine.
you want to, okay. So this person was discrediting the Udemy traffic source, basically saying that their list is way too saturated, lots of buying and selling, which I do understand. There, in that particular traffic source, there are a lot of people who buy and sell each other's traffic, and they sell it again, resell, and that kind of thing. I understand where he's coming from. That he also said that he's tested and proved that Udemy and another particular solo ad vendor, Igor Kleifitz, I think that's how it's pronounced, is not a good source of traffic. Um, Basically, this person said that he gets new leads every day. He's building his own list, and he has testimonials. Um, And he said he's been doing this for 5 years and he knows what I'm trying to say. And he basically asked, can I tell you how I build my list? And I said, yes, please tell me how you build your list, because I wanted to hear what he had to say. He says, solo ads are not created equal. He says, I built my list using methods and techniques that 99% of the industry don't. And that's why my results are different to 99% of the rest of the marketplace. Basically, he was talking about how frustrating it can be when you don't get those results. He said his traffic is an exception to the rule because he put 5 months of strategic planning and execution into building it in various ways and ensuring the relationship he has with his list is unique. And he also uses Bing ads and Warrior Forum. And he has human eyeballs, not bots, which that is very important. You don't want someone who's going to be using bots, and basically bots are not people. They're basically forced clicks that aren't real people to try to get you to have to buy more because they're not real people. So basically, and he asked what my thoughts are. So I had some questions that I wanted him to address, because these are things that I am looking for in a solo ad vendor. I want to know how they're building their list and what type of list they have. And again, you can stop me at any time, but so basically I asked him, so how often is your list exposed to new offers? Because you want to know that. You want to know, how are they sending 20 emails a day to their list, or are they sending a few a day? And do the same people see different offers daily? So what I wanted to know is, are they seeing the same thing from same people or different people? I wanted to know if they're segmenting, if he's segmenting his list. I also wanted to know if he's sending that same list, or if he has a different list that he's sending his offers to. And how are you communicating with your list? Are the people on your list claiming that they're broke? Do you have people on your list that actually spend money? Do you get to know who is on your list and why they subscribed? And his responses to the first one, how often do people on the list get exposed to new offers? He says 1 email for selling and 1 for value based to keep trust, which I agree with. You know, you definitely want to build trust. In response to the same people see different offers daily, he says 1 email per day, so 1 offer per day, which isn't bad, to be honest. If they're seeing 1 offer a day, that's actually not too bad. In the question about how do you segment your list, he segments it into people who click, people who open, and people who are dead. And he cleans out his list every 20 days, all those dead people. And he said, in the question of, are you sending your list your own offers? And he says, yes, when he has extra traffic left, he does send his own offers. In my question about how are you communicating with your list, and he said mostly emails, some come on Facebook, as value-based emails are helping me to interact more. In response to, are the people on your list claiming that they're broke? He says, I have so many buyers on my list. Some might be waiting to invest or at a verge, but to be honest, not all are buyers. So he's at least being honest about that. Do you have people on your list that actually spend money? And he said, yes, people are getting sales as I have many buyers and adding more daily to my list. And the question about, do you really get to know who is on your list, why they subscribe? And he said, yes, people who are in the make money online niche and looking for work-based, home-based business, work, side hustle. So I actually asked him a few other questions. Do you conduct any surveys to pre-qualify people? Once they're on your list, do you conduct any surveys alluding to why they remain on the list? What's the way you find out why people subscribe to your list? Do you ask people how many lists they're on? Do you ask why they have bought or haven't bought? And his response was, I send value-based emails to my subscribers so that they know me, so I have to build trust with them, so I come up like as an authority. And he says he motivates and engages with them so they don't unsubscribe, even purchase the offer that I'm recommending. And that was the last of our conversation. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of the questions or what his responses were. And I know that was a lot of information, but I would like to hear some feedback about
Yeah,
that.
in fact, I'm gonna back it up a bit
Mm-hmm.
to the fact that since we're talking about solo ads, I want to make sure that everybody understands. If you're watching this live or even on replay later on, what a solo ad is and how it can actually help you. So, just to put it in simple words, I drive traffic. So I drive whether it's a YouTube video. Let's use that as an example, just to give you a very easy understanding. I have a video on YouTube, right? That gets clicks, it gets views, and I have a link in the description. That link in the description takes me to a landing page. Now, this is all part of the success with the plan and how we actually set things up, right? We set things up with the product. We have a marketing system that promotes the product. So the person puts their email address in, and you start to collect their list, right? Their email. Now you start to build your list this way. When I have enough of people, and I'm talking about as a vendor, or even though I'm not a vendor, a traffic vendor, I'm just giving you guys the how it works. Okay. Um, Now once I have enough people on my list, I can start to allocate those people, okay, and sell my network to somebody else. So I'm offering, just like you would go to, let's say, a shop, okay, on the corner of your street or something like that. If it's a florist, let's say, and you want to advertise your business there because they have a nice board and you know that they're getting quite a few people coming in and out every single day. So you say, hey, can I pay you $5 to just put up an ad? And the person says, no problem. That's fine. You can do it. And you put up an ad there, and now you start to get a few people who are interested in what you have to offer because you put a poster up or a flyer or whatever. Same thing you were doing in, I think you have university boards and you have these specific, you're tapping into the university's traffic, right? You're tapping into the florist traffic. That is what you're doing exactly with solo ads. You're tapping into somebody else's network. Okay, so that is what a solo ad is in general. So in my opinion, you cannot have um, traffic which is unknown to yourself, because specifically if there are over 200,000 people looking for a specific, you know, area or category every single day, which is, for example, internet marketing or make money online in this kind of niche. What happens is that you are specifically targeting your audience to those kind of people. We said this last time. In fact, we said we can't have a random traffic budget where you don't ask a carpenter to come in and suddenly buy or become a florist. Just, I don't know why I'm obsessed with florists today, but I'm just saying, you can't have those two mixed
Mm-hmm.
together, because they're two completely different skill sets. They're two completely different areas where you need to work with. So you need to definitely focus on what you're getting. So a lot of the questions that Renee had to ask are really important, and in fact, there are a few things that I might ask you to repeat, Renee, because
Yep.
I need to refresh my memory what I was thinking when you were saying it right now,
Yep.
because I know that
Yep.
I would
It's
lose
fine.
my train of thought.
Yep.
But definitely, we can look at the mixture that I personally have, and I think Renee as well has in the traffic sources that we use, is that it's not all solo ads. Okay, that we mentioned about creating a traffic budget last time, but the way we spend, we focus our paid traffic, at least I personally, on three different main vendors, which have all different categories. One has a really high um, I don't even know what a mix, like a pay per click advertising and stuff like that going on in the back end. And I don't mind even saying the sources, like Traffic for Me is one of them, which
Mm-hmm.
is quite a high quality kind of traffic which you can get. And you can go as specific as have only mobile traffic being sent to you, or
Yep.
only, if specific people who are interested in only that kind of a product or service that you're selling. That's a very, very quality lead. which you don't mind spending for. So that's one of the ways, which is not a typical way that you would have, right? Then we also have, for example, Udemy, which you can look for different vendors out there, or you can have other solo ad vendors. So solo ads is one of the ways. We also work with media buys, which is also again real time people going and looking for things and getting, which is another healthy traffic source to have. Plus YouTube videos, you have your Facebook, you have your Instagram, whatever kind of social media methods that you are using to generate content. You have a blog. It depends. You have a website, whatever you are doing in addition to bring free traffic. So you have the paid and you have the free. That means your list should be healthy enough to have that kind of a diversity and not you just be focused on the same people. Because what can happen if you only buy solo ads and stuff like that, you can get into the problem of the same people being on my list, on Renee's list, on Rob's list, on everybody else's list possible, but they don't resonate with any of us. So you need to clear those people out. It's very good. For example, Renee asked, how often do you need to clean that list? He does it every 20 days. That's good. You see that you're pushing people out, so that's new people who are coming in, right?
Yep.
You can do paid advertising also through Facebook, through Bing, through Google AdWords, whatever it is. Okay, these are all specific methods, but solo ads in particular, you have to be used to and know that I'm opting into Renee's network, for example. And if there are some people who resonate more with me and have just been on the list because they wanted to check out Renee's stuff and they didn't know whether they actually wanted to buy from her, and now they saw me and they're attracted to me and my personality or something I said, and now they want to buy from me, I'm tapping into that network, and that's how I make a purchase. And that person would not have had the opportunity if I didn't tap into her network and pay her for that solo ad.
Yep.
That's how it works. And you have to be ready and understand, be in the right mindset that you're tapping into somebody else's network, which means that you might or might not get a sale immediately. For me, when I look at solo ads, I look at how many people I can get into my network. And now, once I'm in my network, how good can I be in order for me to communicate with them and actually build a relationship? So the relationship side, the selling side is all on me. The relationship to the sell.
Yep.
And this is something that I think that even we converse a lot with solo ad vendors, because it doesn't really matter how many different traffic sources they're using, but if they're selling it as solo ads, what is different, So Renee, if I can ask you, because I lost my train of thought specifically on the question that you said, can you just repeat some the questions? And
Yep. So basically, one of the questions was, and I know a solo ad vendor who actually does this. That's why I was asking if this person does. Do you conduct any surveys to pre-qualify people once they're on your list? Do you conduct any surveys alluding to why they remain on your list? The reason why I think this is a good idea is that you are pre-qualifying people, and it helps you to actually segregate your list even further. So if you're going to be building that list so that you set it up for your solo ad buyers, like there's certain people in a certain category. Like you might ask people, how much would you spend on starting a business? Like, I think that's a phenomenal question for a solo ad vendor to ask, so that they can segment their list, so that if they have a good relationship with the people who are buying from them, if they have a high ticket offer, something several thousands of dollars, they're not going to put them, well, a good solo ad vendor, a reputable one, is not going to put them on a list where people want free things or people will only spend $100. Okay. So that's why that's a really important question, because not all people are created equal. Okay. Not everybody looking online has the same budget. So if you have a certain offer that's in a certain price range, you would want to know that kind of question. You would want to know. And if I'm having a relationship with a solo ad vendor, I want to know what their list is all about. You know what I mean? So those were a few. The other ones are, how are you communicating with your list? Like, what the reason why I asked that is I wanted to know if the people on their list know that they're going to have a different offer every day, and they know that that list is being used to show different offers to them. Okay, because I know Rob sells traffic, and I really hope he can get on someday, and I would love him to actually answer this question. He's answered it for us, but not everybody listening here knows this. But basically, he has different lists, and I'm on his list, so I see what he tells people on his list, and he basically puts it out there. Here are some offers that people I'm working with are doing. So he's literally telling them, okay, this is not my particular offer. This is something that someone else I'm working with is doing. So again, he's got that network that he's worked hard to build that relationship with, and maybe there's something that he's not doing, but someone else has a different offer, and that clicks with that person, and that just resonates. Okay, but at least that list knows that they're going to see different offers. Okay, they're not only going to see something just from that particular vendor. You were
The
going
other
to say
thing
something?
that came to my mind very very frequently is, you see guys, you never know when you're purchasing a solo ad whether you can do your research. Okay, so what I personally do, I don't think Udemy is a bad source at all. In fact, I think it's a highly reputable source if you take it seriously and actually look for the people. Now, you can definitely find people who are not recommended there, just like any other place in the market. You're going to find people who are not recommended. Okay, but if you look carefully, you can definitely, and there are simple signs to it. Okay, I'm going to speak about Udemy, and then I'm going to touch on a simple other concept which we just spoke about, which actually Renee touched upon. Actually, I'll speak about that first. She said buyers, right? You're looking for buyers. Now, if you are looking for buyers, and a solo ad vendor reaches out and shows and shares their traffic generation methods, I would if they say something like Bing ads, I would say, what are you targeting in Bing? And why do I want to know what they're targeting in Bing? Because if you're looking for people who are only looking to make money online, you have a common factor that goes on. Okay? And I was like this as well. I know other people who were as well. For example, if I would be a simple target audience in a Bing ad, let's say, for those people who were looking to make money online. But I did not have the budget, so I'm not a buyer already, right? I'm not a buyer. I do not have a budget. I'm not the buyer, but I'm interested in this field. So that's gonna target to, obviously gonna be interested. I'm gonna be interested in it. So I'm gonna click on the ad. I'm gonna go on this person's list, and they're gonna send me the click or whatever, right? But I'm not a buyer because I don't have the funds. Okay, so there's a lot. What happens is, because some people get online and get into this kind of arena because they're frustrated about something or the other, right? They want to change the situation. Usually it's financial or family related, but they don't realize that they have to actually put in the time and monies in the beginning to take the first steps. So they are not automatic buyers. They're actually procrastinating and skeptical people.
Yep.
But if you're targeting a target audience, which is already somebody who wants a side hustle, who has a job, who's ready to sacrifice a bit, you
Yep.
get a whole range of different people. And if they are targeting in this way, you already understand. And this is a little more advanced, what I'm saying. But when you ask this question, you get an eye opener of whether they can be people who are buyers or not on their list. Okay,
Yep.
that's the same thing you can do on Udemy actually, but in a different way. In Udemy, you have all the reviews there. Okay, and I personally, before I choose a vendor on Udemy, I go to the recommended vendors, or I look out for the different vendors, and I go through their most recent traffic purchases. And for me, I count 3 to 5 people who have purchased and have mentioned that they've got sales. Not just put a thumbs up and say they got sales, but actually written that I've got 2 sales or I've got 1 sale. At least 5 people in most recent weeks. Okay. The reason why I do that is because I say that's fresh, that's new, that's cool. I
Yep.
might resonate with it. So that allows me to choose the vendors in the right way in terms of buyers. But can I guarantee that I will get buyers? No, because it depends a lot on me and how consistently I'm selling traffic and how I'm communicating and building that relationship with my list. Just as Rob says, for that's one aspect. Second aspect is I, for example, purchase traffic from Rob. Okay, now Rob is not here, so I'm going to speak on his behalf, and I know that he wouldn't mind me telling you guys this, but he does have different lists. But he himself has. You can go on YouTube and actually check out the video. He has said it himself. It doesn't make sense for me, who's working with Rob, for Rob to sell his people the offer that I'm doing, which he's also doing. Because it just
Yep.
doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense that we have three. He's sending to other people my offer, which he's also sending it to them. So that's why he segments his list. That's why he separates his list, and he will not send my offer to his list. He will send only his link so that the relationship remains trustworthy. And if he segments his list, that means the new traffic that he's getting, he focuses that on only new offers from the people he's working with. That's different. Okay. That's something that you can tap into because that's something new, which even the person is getting, and now you are getting access to that. So those are some certain things to keep in mind when you're having a solo ad. But for me, what I would say, Renee, and you can, even be a testimony to this. I don't know whether you have any results or something like that, but I would say consistency in building a list is any which way is super important. And if you're using solo ads as a technique, give it time. Give it time. Okay, last week we spoke about a traffic source. You need, just like any traffic source, whether it's even Facebook ads or whatever it is, you need time for your follow up. So, for example, if you have a follow up series of 30 days, give your follow up series of 30 days that much time to work itself and keep doing it consistently for 30 days. So, send traffic every single day for 30 days, see how it's going because you have a follow up series for 30 days. And I'm sure if you send traffic every day for 30 days, you're going to get some results.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to
But if
answer
you
your
send it
question,
once
yep.
and say, oh, let's see how I'm going to get.
You're not going to get
So,
much. You might. Okay. Once in a blue moon, that does happen. But, I have actually seen it happen, but it's not the norm. Okay. To reiterate what you said about Udemy, I have to agree with you is that Udemy can be a very reputable source, but you obviously have to reach out. You have to know your solo ad vendor that you're going to choose. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk about this today is like before you actually purchase, go look at their reviews, send them a message, and ask. I mean, you don't have to ask them as many as I did. The only reason why I actually carried on this conversation is because this person was looking for feedback from me. Like they were wanted to know, specific things. But when you're establishing that relationship with a solo ad vendor, there's key things that you do want to ask, and some of them I've mentioned. Okay, you want to know how they're segmenting their list. That's number one, and you definitely want to know kind of where they're getting their traffic from and how they've built their list. You might even ask them how big their list is, although on Udemy, I think they list that, or maybe they used to,
some of them.
some of them do. But you definitely want to have a conversation. And the reason why I say that is when you build a relationship with a solo ad vendor, they're going to work hard for you. Like it works both ways. Okay. So if you have a good relationship, if you order from them and you give them maybe a testimonial saying, had great communication, I'm looking forward to, whoever subscribed to my list and building that relation, but you've at least acknowledged that you got the traffic from that person, they're hopefully going to, and you order again, they're going to want to work hard for you the next time, so you keep ordering. If they're a good business person, they don't want to have bad results. Okay, because you will put that in your review. Okay, nobody wants to see a review of them that they had bad results. Now, anything can happen with results. Okay, even good solo ad vendors have had not so great results on a certain traffic run. It happens. You just don't know. But overall, you want to have consistent. That's why consistency is key. If you're going to use a certain solo ad vendor, you can't give them just one time chance and say, oh, well, that didn't work, or, oh yeah, that was a great run, I'll order again. But if it could go both ways, but the more you actually have that open communication, you establish that relationship, both of you are going to work at giving either testimonial if you're the client, or if you're the solo ad vendor, you're going to work hard. You might give extra clicks every now and then. You might, you know what I mean? I've done that with several solo ad vendors in the past, and it's always been to my benefit. They've either offered me a discount or given me more clicks for doing a testimonial that they never even asked for. Sometimes I just do it just because I've gotten great results or I've had good communication. Okay. So it's just important, be proactive in your business, because the more you communicate with the people that you're buying from, the better off you're going to be in the long run. At the end of the day, it's your business. Do you want it to succeed? If you do, then you want to take the extra steps and actually have a conversation with your solo ad vendor. And if you want these, again, you could reach out to me or just rewatch the video and listen to some of the questions that I've asked. So
yeah, I would also add here, guys, that there are things that you can do to define yourself for you. What are those results? Why was it a good traffic run? Okay, what are the factors that define that for you?
yeah.
You don't need to mention it to the solo ad vendor, but you can if you want to. But for you, you need to define that. And what do I mean now? I'm gonna say some things here right now that I'm 100% sure, because I've not heard anybody else say this. The usual things will say, look at opt-in rates, look how communicative your list are, and these kind of things, which is great, to look at. Don't get me wrong, and it does have an impact. But I would set what I call, you know how when you have a rat in the house and you set a mouse in the house, you set a mouse trap and stuff like that, right? Those are the kind of traps you need to set within your follow-up series. Now, what do I mean? It sounds very, very cunning, right? But I don't mean it in a bad way at all. I mean it in such a way, like, for example, one of the key elements for me is that the traffic that I buy needs to be engaging. So I need to make my follow-up series engaging for people to reply to me. So that's already a trap. Why? Because in the first few emails, go hard on, they have to reply to my email, they have to communicate with me on Facebook, they have to whatever task that I set up over there. And if they do that, I automatically know that it's not just about the opens, but they are communicating back with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's benefiting me because then I'm having a conversation with them. I'm just being myself.
Yep.
Right? And for me, that result is key. Okay, so that's how I continue to look at my follow-up series, for example, and say, "Ooh, this is what I'm going to do." I'm going to set those parameters for me. And this is just one of the examples, right? This is not related to opt-ins. This is not, but it shows me that on that traffic run, somebody has replied to the follow-up series for me, not my broadcast, the follow-up series, because I get a reply from that. Once I get a reply from that, I know, okay, this traffic vendor makes sense. He's got an active active list that communicates with me.
Yep.
And that's something for me that's important. So you can set these kind of things. So these are factors that depend on you. You set these traps in order for you to define the results that you want from that traffic run. And your aim is to see how they work. So another thing that a lot of people would do is look at the open rates of the, but this is common, so it's not something new. The open rates of the follow-up series.
Yep.
How are people opening quite often? Not, etc., etc. Is it? Then it might be me. I need to change something. That's another way you can gauge the traffic itself.
Yep.
And the other thing is just looking at at speed of open sometimes. That's another thing that I tend to notice, because sometimes it just the person within a few seconds of me sending a video, an email, they've opened my email. And I'm like, that's strange. That's super strange. And maybe I need to check if it's the actual person, or that might be a bot who's
Mm-hmm.
triggered to open my emails because of whatever.
Yep. Or, I mean, it could also be a good thing. It's someone that is looking forward to your
Or
emails, and you've established a good relationship, because I've noticed that certain people on my list expect an email almost every day from me. Those people tend to be the first openers
yeah,
of, because even if they're on their mobile phone, they'll get that notification that I sent an email, and they'll open it up.
yeah.
So it could be a good or bad thing, but if it's wicked fast all the time and you don't get much engagement, it could possibly not
It's
be.
just paying attention to these things, guys, because then
Hmm.
you can actually see. Like, for example, if I see Renee opening my emails fast, because I know that she's expecting something from me, but I know her right now. But I can go and research the people who I have. So, for example, somebody has, and this is an actual thing that's happened to me. I noticed somebody opening my emails almost every day for more than a year. Again, he still continues to do this. And so, and then suddenly added me on Facebook. So I said, okay, cool. He's a real person. And I had a conversation with him, and it's like, oh, you're on my email list, right? And we just spoke about it. And he's not joined me in anything yet, but that's completely fine, because he's building a relationship with me all along the way. And every single day, he opens my emails and he reads them. But that's somebody who I personally have looked out for, and he has looked to create a relationship with me. So I know it's a real person. So even though it's immediate, I know it's not somebody just trying. But there's another thing with Udemy, and this is not any praise to Udemy as a traffic source or anything. With every traffic source, guys, you need to put in the work. You need to understand what you're buying with your paid advertising. Make a good return on that investment that you're putting your money in. Now, it is an investment not in financially in itself, but it's in your learning that helps. Okay, you understand the traffic source that you are using. I'll give you an example. Facebook is one example specifically for paid advertising. You can spend a lot of money on it and not make a single dime back if you don't understand what you want from your target audience. Specifics. Who are the people? How can I create an ad that's exactly for it? I don't want to waste my money. Right? You need to set up those, what do I expect from this? Okay, not a one time, oh, I'm buying 100 clicks, I expect 2 sales. Why? Why do you expect 2 sales? Right? So these solo ads is this exact same way that you would do it. Added to which, a site like Udemy has a filtering process in place that doesn't allow you to get fake clicks. So I've gone in favor of Udemy now much more, because I find that actual people visiting my website who are people who click and open, because of the way they filter their own clicks for the vendors. So the vendors are having a tough time, because, for example, they have to sell to get, for example, 100 clicks. They have to personally get 120 to 130 people to click. because 10 of those clicks or 20 of those clicks might be useless.
Yep.
So because a third party is filtering it for you, be thankful, because if it went directly, it could have been much less.
Yep.
But yeah, that's and this is not a promotion to Udemy or something like that. It's just specifically explaining to you guys that you should understand your traffic sources, and it doesn't happen overnight. And it really doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for Renee. It did not happen overnight for me. That is for sure. Okay, it's taken us time to understand these things. But is it complicated? It can be if you make it complicated. Okay, I want to go back to saying, but David, how does this fit with the whole plan that we were talking? You said to keep it simple. Yes, we do say to keep it simple. We're just educating you on this arena right here, right? But if you don't focus on the specific things and just follow the sources that we give you and we tell you, hey, we are testing it out for you. We've already done it. Go ahead and use it. And then if you want to understand it, reach out to us and we'll explain it to you a little more. We'll give you time. We'll give you some material to study. You can get a familiar aspect of it and then decide if you want to go your own way or not. Okay, that's the whole approach that we're trying to give you right here. We're saying we're giving it very simple. Sources are there. This is how we use it, and we do it the same way. But if you want to understand it further, we are here to help and go ahead in that way as well.
Yep. And this is definitely a more advanced strategy. This is for someone who's ready to go out and venture out and try some solo ad vendors. But if you're not there yet, that's okay too. Just understand we're here to help, but we have an array of different people at different phases in the process. And I just thought this was a good topic to follow up with from last week, and because it came up, and I also don't want people to get nervous if they are pitched by a solo ad vendor. That's the other thing, because you could very easily get caught in something like that and not know what to do or what to say. My recommendation is if you're new and you don't really know what to say, I would just ignore those messages. And if you see something like that, you could reach out to one of us and we'll be happy to help say, okay, no, don't order from this person. We already know this person's a sleaze bucket or something. I don't know, whatever. Or we could say, yeah, I've actually ordered from this person and they do a pretty good job. So go ahead, but it is a simple process, but there are things to learn. And the way you learn it is just by doing it. The more you do it and just start listening to the webinars we do, listening to YouTube videos we do, if you're on any of our email list and just educating yourself on, what we send out in emails and things like that, the more you engage in that kind of stuff and start to implement that, that's just the better you're going to do. You're going to feel more comfortable being able to do this on your own. And that's really what we're here for. My biggest compliment is when someone says to me, or someone does better than I do, because, we've done a great job at teaching and they go off and they're able to do their own thing and do well. That's a great compliment to any of us.
Yeah. And I'm gonna name drop somebody right now. Maybe she won't come on. I'm trying to get her on, but maybe she won't come on. But she's somebody who, in the last few weeks, I've seen do a phenomenal job getting back into this kind of a rhythm of even
Yeah.
purchasing things every single week and understanding the psychology behind having this consistency and following a plan in order for her to know her numbers and then get the results. Okay, Emma, I know that you are watching this for sure. I don't know whether you want to come on. I already messaged you on Facebook, so you can let me know if you want to come on. Back to this.
Hey Emma, if you're watching, how you doing?
So let me just send you the link, Emma, in a second, and I will get you on just to ask you a few questions, because I think it would be super valuable for people to hear, like somebody else's experience as well. So
Absolutely.
let's see if she jumps on. She's seriously such a sport. I didn't expect her like 15-20 minutes before we end to jump on. But let's see what comes on now. I sent her the link. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the, let's say, the results up to her on what can happen if you do send consistently, and you start to get results because of the consistency. Now she's somebody who has, let me give you an introduction before she jumps on. She's somebody who has stopped doing a little bit of online marketing for a while, and she's got back into it right now. So that means she's starting everything from scratch. And the thing is, it is faster for her because she has a plan already that she was following, which is the similar plan that we are following, by the way. There's no difference in the method that we're going about it. So she's on. Emma, nice to have you. I'm going to let her speak, but as I said, she's been following this plan for a bit, in terms of having just, that consistency in place, even in purchasing traffic and stuff like that. I'm going to leave it up to her to, share a little bit about her results. And I know I got you on all of a sudden. I know you were ready to get to
I'm
bed.
in my PJs. I'm literally in bed watching you guys.
That's okay.
Sorry,
We're
everyone.
glad to have you on, Emma, and I appreciate you coming on.
I'm completely gate crashing.
That's completely fine.
Absolutely.
We are here every week, so if you want to gate crash every week, we don't mind as well.
Yes.
But yeah.
How are you guys doing anyway? How are you getting on?
Good.
The show's great, by the way.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think people get a lot of value from it, so it's all good.
Yeah. So do you mind, Emma, sharing a little bit of what it's been like to get back into the swing of things and what some of your results are from just by being consistent? Because that's kind of what we talk about each week, and how consistency really is the key and stuff. So if you don't mind sharing that, I would appreciate that.
Okay, so for guys that don't know me, maybe because I've been away for a little while, I've been gone about, what would you say, 9 months, maybe a year?
Roughly,
Yeah, something like that. I was living in Italy, moved home, life took over, so I've been away a while. And about a month ago, I decided to jump back in, and it's been pretty crazy. It's been good, but it's been pretty crazy. It's been, in some ways, it's been a lot harder than I expected. In some ways, it's been a lot easier. I've really worked hard while I was marketing before to make really good relationships, build things right. So I had a solid foundation. So when I came back, I found it a lot easier than maybe it could have been. But also it's been trickier. I mean, there are points where I've been like, this is so hard to start again. Oh my goodness, what were you thinking? Starting from nothing, oh my goodness. But the thing is, you've got to be consistent. You've got to buy traffic. You've got to email out to your list. You've got to post on Facebook. You've got to talk to people. You've got to help people. If you say you're going to do something, you've got to do it. And it is being consistent. So I've been really lucky. I've had a really mega few weeks. And I've said it a few times, the turning point I found, because I've been using Rob's traffic. And so I earn money in a program, take it out and buy traffic. And I have noticed amazing conversion since I put a bridging page in. So I'm using a bridging page so that people know me, because maybe they don't identify with Rob. Maybe, he's not their cup of tea, or they've seen him for whatever it may be. And maybe they identify with me. So I've put a bridging page in, and that's had massive, massive, massive results for me. And then following up every day with the broadcasts. And I think I want to say in 4 weeks, I've had about 25 or 30 sign-ups over three different programs, maybe more. I think I'm up to 6 in PLS, something ridiculous like 10 in X-Facet, and I think 5 or 6 in Carrot Bars, and I don't even know how many in FutureNet. So it's been amazing. But that bridging page was a massive turning point. As soon as I put that in, if you don't know how to do it, reach out to one of the guys or me on Facebook, and I'll explain how to do it. It's really easy to do. You've just got to get your head around doing it, but it's really easy to do. So if you don't know how to do it, speak to one of us, because it completely changes, because people get to know you And that's what people need in solo ads. They don't just need to be buying somebody else. They need to identify with you and who you are and get your message and why you're involved. So there you go. That's the tip from Emma in her pajamas from a bedroom.
I love it. No, it's great. But that's important in your conversions. You have to get yourself out there. So, and again, for the new people who don't know how to do that and are a little leery about it, it's okay. We can walk you through that process. But if you want success faster, you're going to do it. Okay. Bottom line is it's your business. Do you want it to succeed or do you want it to fail? Okay.
And the thing is, no matter what you do in these things, whether it be through Facebook, whether it be through YouTube videos, whether it be through solo ads, whichever strategy, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. If you always stay in your comfort zone, then you could still succeed, but it's going to take you an awful lot longer. If you want to like supercharge it and power it up, if you want to get results, I'm not talking like being a millionaire in 3 minutes. I've said this before. I've said it before. So, you know, it's not about making £1 million in 5 minutes, because that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. None of us are going to sit there and tell you that you're going to make a fortune in 5 minutes, because that just isn't how it happens. You know, you've got to be something pretty special for that to happen. But if you take little steps to break out of your comfort zone, learn one new thing and apply it, test it. Did it work? Didn't it work? If it didn't work, what could I do to do it better? Is it my video? Is it the offer? Is it testing? And if you do that, and if you do it consistently, and if you monitor the results that you're getting, then you start to improve and you start to notice some differences and you start to build and you start to progress. And then you get more confidence. And as you get more confidence, then you'll break out of your comfort zones a little bit more. You'll talk a little bit more. You'll jump on Hangouts in your PJs. You'll, you know, all of those little things, but that comes with confidence, and it comes with experience, and it comes with who you're exposing yourself to and surrounding yourself with, and all of those things. So, but you just have, it's like anything, you've got to be persistent and consistent and keep learning. So,
and if you notice, guys, Emma also said specifically that she came back with a plan. Like, she knew what exactly things were happening, and that's, you know, going back. The whole reason why we put this webinar together is to share with you guys a simplistic plan that technically we all follow. Have a product, have that marketing system, have that traffic, and have that support, because that is going to bridge everything together for you. Okay. I'm not gonna, Emma, I'm gonna thank you firstly for jumping on. I know it was all of a sudden, and I think you're an amazing sport to, you know, hop on with us. We are here every week, every Wednesday. So in case you want to jump on as well another time, feel free to reach out to us, and we can definitely make that happen. I don't know if Renee is stuck or she's gone off. Maybe.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can see you right now.
Okay.
I didn't want to add anything, Renee, before we end it.
No, there was nothing more that I wanted to add. I think we've covered a lot of things today, and I don't want to overwhelm people, but I think we've actually covered a lot. And I think what, you know, some of the questions we've said and some of the things you've made will get people thinking more, and maybe not jump into something so quickly without really thinking about it. So that's it.
So we'll be on, guys, next week as well. If you want to reach out to Renee, Emma, I will leave a link to Emma's YouTube channel as well in the description of this one. Right now, you should see only Renee's, Rob's, and myself. Unfortunately, Rob did not make it this time. We will get him on, guys. We will get him on. He does want to be on here, and he completely supports us as we do this every single week. So he will jump on when he can, and we'll try to get him on next week also. But at this point of time, guys, I want to wish you also a nice week. Have a great the rest of the week, and keep focus on the plan that you've set in place to go ahead as well. Okay, you guys.